I like to make lids fit tightly on anything. So if you're making a salt cellar or a sugar jar, if it's really loose, you're going to get moisture in it. So it's kind of a good idea to make all your lids tight. You can see I have a little bit of a, like my pinky is digging in a tiny bit, have a little bit of an indent there. That's just going to help me in the end. Now what I want to do with this is I want to make sure that it's not like, you know, that I didn't leave it too narrow, because it's kind of hard to bring it out if I leave it too narrow. So I'm kind of leaving maybe about a half an inch.
So you're aiming, that'll be where the
outside of the flange is. So it'll be, actually I'll be using that part of the tool. Yeah. Okay. It's just easier for me to see it when I'm just giving it that kind of approximate measurement. So I'm putting my fingers in and I'm leaving a good half an inch in there, just like I said for the urn, and it seems like it's kind of thick, but you're going to end up pressing a little bit harder at certain points and it might make it a little thinner. Like right now, I'm pressing a little bit harder. Okay, when I did the lid, I should say when I did the urn, I kept my sponge on top, and that brought the whole top like kind of curved in together. For this, my thumb is down there, I'm just pulling this out. See a little bit of a wobble there? I'm going to push that down. Right? Just by pulling that out and not having my sponge on top, I've already created the flange. It's so quick. It's really pretty easy.
So you're like establishing the inside.
Yeah, I'm establishing the inside. What I'm doing here is I'm thinking shallow bowl. So my fingers are a little bit higher here, and then they're pressing down, and they're going down harder towards the center. So I'm having like a little bit of a shallow bowl form. All right, so right now what I want to do is I just want to give it a quick check and see if I'm anywhere close to what I want. I'm sorry, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't mean to do that.
You can mess it up and show us how
I could mess you up. I've done this literally thousands of times, and I kind of sometimes just get it right the first time.
So perfect is when we saw a little mark on the outside. Of
a little
thing,
mark
right?
is
so
good.
So you want it to just be touching.
Just touching.
Okay.
Yep. And then there's more to it. That's not it. It's not like I'm done.
Okay.
It's definitely not done. Okay, so I need to talk now about what happens here. So this right now is flat. That makes for a terrible lid to have this section flat, because what will happen, and I'm going to get one of my urns and I'm going to show you. I'm going to make sure my hands are clean. So what will happen if I don't have a little, what I call a gully, okay, an indent right in here, is, and if I leave it flat like down there, this lid is going to sit up like this. And I don't know if you could see a little white line showing, the white line, because this is a white clay, and it just looks terrible. So because of the gully that I made, or the indent, whatever you want to call it, it now sits down over and covers that white line. So that's really important. That's what I'm going to show you how to do right now. Okay, up here. So I have some tools that I make, and you can definitely find those on the website. This one is a newer version. This one isn't totally the newest version, but it's just a little curved edge like that, and that I call a gully maker. Now notice I wet my fingers because I don't want it to skid here and I don't want it to skid there, and it's going to still skid right there. So just a little bit more. I can take this tool, I'm pushing that in. Okay, so another thing I'm looking at when I said about some details. This right here, okay, I'm going to clean up my hands again and get a lid and show you what I mean. Okay, I want you to look at, now this is the same exact size lid. So this is clay that has not shrunk yet, and this is clay that has shrunk. So you can see the difference. Now look at how thick this is here, and look at how it's not so thick there. That's because I've left enough in case I want to just trim this a little bit more here. Sometimes it's sticking out too much, sometimes the angle is wrong. So I've left it thick enough so I can give this a nice curve if I want it. I could maybe, if there was some mistake here where it's too narrow, I can take a tiny bit off there. Right? So this is always left a little bit thick. So in the course of one session, I might have, this whole board will be filled up. There might be, whatever, 6 lids, and I might make 5 urns or 4 urns. And because one lid might look better on this one, it might just be a little wider or a little narrower. So I always make a couple of extra. It's very helpful. And then in terms of drying everything, your urn is, or your sugar jar, or whatever it is you're making, is going to dry quicker. This has a ton of bulk, and this is going to dry slower. So what I'll do with this is, once it's dry a little bit, I'll put it on another board or on canvas, and I'll make sure I turn it around if there's an air source coming one way. And I'll just keep working on turning these and making sure that they're drying underneath, because that urn is definitely drying quicker than that. All right?
Great.
All right, that's lesson number 1. Next, it's trimming.